Hello and very welcome to module number 5, turning perceived musts into conscious choices. So, where are we by now? This is module 5, where we're going to start to get really practical and concrete. So, in modules 1 to 4, we have learned we all have a glass of time. Every week we have 168 hours, and it's up to you to decide how you use yours. It's up to me to decide how I fill mine. Everyone will fill it their own way. We have also learned that we have different categories of time. Say that we have needs time. The time we need to take care of our basic needs. Sleep, eat, move. If we do take care of our basic needs, we will have less waste, which is another part or a category of time. Another category of time is want. The things we want to do, the ones that give us passion, the ones that also will reduce waste. Another really important thing about adding want time in your glass is that when you do, you start protecting your own time, you start respecting yourself and your time. If you don't respect yourself and your time, others will not either. And then we have the must part. In the last module, we learned or talked about that if we step a little bit back from everyday life, from whatever we think of from day to day, and look at life, the one we're in the middle of, the one that can end whenever we least expect it, the one that some of our friends might already have left. When we look at it, life that way, we remember that, hey, there are no musts. Only habits and choices. And today, in module 5, we're going to look into, so how do we do that? How do we turn these perceived musts into choices? We will do that by working with business cases. So what is a business case? Well, in business, a business case is looking at the values of a project or of doing something versus the costs. Do the values outweigh the costs? If they do not, then they won't start, or a business will not start doing it. So let's say that we have a software development company. They have created a mail services. They have a software tool to do that. Now, with this tool, you can already send in a mail to distribution lists. You can get people to sign up and unsubscribe easily. You can easily create really cool templates and all of that. But today there is a lack of a feature that integrates with Facebook. So they know that some of their customers would love to write a mail and have it automatically posted to Facebook as well. This feature, let's call it Facebook integration, will cost one development team 2 weeks, 2 sprints of work. A sprint in this case, let's say that it's 3 weeks. So 6 weeks of work will be the cost. So the values can be a lot. They can be, we are going to get increased market share because we're going to have a feature that several of our competitors don't have. So we will get more money. Another value can be that we can put this into our premium package, so people have to buy it, so we can get more money from existing customers. So that's also increased revenue, increased market share, increased revenue from existing customers. It can also be that those who already have this premium or plus package, they will be very happy that they get another feature in. So you will have some goodwill. Business cases are not only monetary, they also look into things that are not monetary but can be strategically good or good for goodwill, etc. And the costs, yes, so the costs are that this team will have to work 6 weeks. And it's fairly easy to look into that as money. So what is the cost of a team? What is the cost of the work that they do? We have hourly costs and we know how many hours. And then of course they have costs related to equipment that they will use. It can also be, of course, introducing a new feature will mean that the whole system becomes more difficult to maintain, and you will have to introduce more test cases, and that's also part of your cost. You have another cost. And then there is this really important aspect, the cost of lost opportunity. Because it's not only a matter of, okay, so the team is spending time on this, is that worth it? It's also, that means they are not spending time on something else. So let's say that this team could also create a feature where you create landing pages so that this mail service will make it easy for people to not only create mails, but only create landing pages. That is a feature that is bigger. It costs, in our example here, then let's say that it would be 4 sprints, 4 times 3, 12 weeks. So they cannot start with that until after 6 weeks, which means it will take 18 weeks before it hits the market. Will that be within the market window? Will it be too late? Will it be too early? That is what needs to be taken into account when we look at the cost of lost opportunity. So that is the concept of the business case, looking at the values versus the cost, remembering that we're not only talking about monetary values and costs, but also more strategic and what does it really mean, feelings that comes with it, and looking at the cost of lost opportunity. What's really interesting here is that we can apply exactly the same thing for our musts. That's what we're going to look into now. So let's look at our glasses and pick, in the exercises, I will ask you to pick 2 or 3 musts and make a business case for them. Meaning, list the values, list the costs, and then look into what to do with them. As an example, we have Anna. Anna continuously works overtime. Some weeks more, some weeks less, but she's noticed that over time, it's continuously working 45 hours a week, even though her actual work week is 40 hours a week. So she wonders for herself, is this really worth it? So she creates a business case. So she looks at her values. What values does it give? Well, in Anna's case, she gets a monetary value. She does get money by working extra. This might not be the case for everyone. It depends on the contract you have. Sometimes maybe you do get money at another place. They say like, nope, you don't get the money for working more. You know, it's up to you how much you work and how much we charge you for that. It's also a feeling, how she feels, that she feels that, it's only when I work 45 hours I can do my job well. So I feel satisfied. So this is about herself feeling satisfied. She likes her job and she likes to do it well, and she's noticed that she doesn't really cope within the 40 hours, partly because within the 40 hours then she's at work when everyone else is. She's busy with meetings, there are colleagues coming in and interrupting her all the time, so it is in the evenings that she can really do good work, and she likes the outcome, so she's happy about that. Second or thirdly, she realizes that others like what she does, so she gets a pat on the shoulder. Hey, good job. Well done. And she can feel proud. Hey, they like what I'm doing. It feels good. She's also getting, hopefully, a good career. Maybe this is increasing her doing her job well, showing that she's willing to work hard, can make her career better. Maybe she can move faster and get promoted better and faster by doing this. All these are values that she appreciates. But she also sees that there are costs, so she's taking a look at them. Well, one cost is very obvious, just like it's an obvious value that she gets money for her overtime. It's an obvious cost that it costs her 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week. over 8 weeks, she will have worked 1 extra week. She will have worked 40 hours. That's fairly much. That is definitely a cost. Another cost is that even if there are a lot of things that make her happy about working more, or at least the outcome, there are also some things that make her unhappy. And that is that she starts to wonder, am I really doing my job very well, or have I started to do other people's job, other people's work, by staying overtime and doing more than I should, and since I'm there anyway, I can just do a little more? Are people starting to take that for granted? Are they really appreciating what I'm doing, or are they just happy that they don't have to do it? There are these doubts that have come into her mind, and that is a cost. It makes her less happy, even a bit resentful at times. Should I really have to work 45 hours, or am I just making it easy for everyone else? Another obvious cost is stress at home. So by coming home late, she notices, okay, so I stay home a little, or I stay at work a bit longer, and that removes the stress at work because I do get the job done. On the other hand, she's just transferring the stress to at home, because when she comes home, there's less left of the evening, and then everything that has to be done at home has to be done at this pace. So she realizes, like, I moved the stress from work to home. That's not really what I want. And what we talked about, the cost of lost opportunities. What else could she do with all of this time? 5 hours a week. That's plenty, actually, when she thinks about it. What else could she do? She could start reading again more. She always loved reading, Anna. And now she only reads in vacations, or she listens to audiobooks when commuting, but she rarely sits down or lies down to read. And she used to love that. Another way could be that those 5 hours, if she would actually use them for something else at work, she could easily fit in more training. Or she could use the 5 hours to have calmer evenings with the family instead of rushing a bit. There are a lot of different ways she could use her time, and it's up to her to decide, is that a better use of my time or not? So Anna's business case looks like this. She's got her values. She's getting more money by working overtime. She gets satisfied herself, less stress. She gets the job done, and she likes what she gets done. Others are happy and give her pats on the shoulders and appreciate her, and that makes her feel good. And maybe it's a lot bigger chance to make a good career by doing this. Her costs, sure, 5 hours a week. It is a cost. It's not something that she should just ignore or forget. It's there. She's unhappy about some things. She's wondering, is she really being appreciated, or is she being abused? Is it worth the extra 5 hours, or is she starting to, adding a finishing touch that doesn't really add that much value? So these doubts have crept in. And then the stress. Now she moved it to home. Not really the way she wanted to. Alternative, the loss of alternative. The opportunities. The opportunities, what could she have done otherwise? Lots of other things. So what will it be for her? Is this a good business case? Is it not? That's what she needs to think about. Now let's look at another example. So Anna is spending about 5 hours a week on cleaning her home or keeping it tidy. In her family, she's the one doing it, not the children, not the spouse. And she's looking into a business case for this as well. So we have values and we have costs. Now I know my handwriting is not so easy to read, so let me read it for you. The values, a clean house. This is something she likes. It makes her feel good. Things are in their place. You know where they are. There is no dust in the corner, no stains here and there. It's just gives her a great feeling. She just likes that. If people say that, hey, I'm coming by, she doesn't have to go like in panic. Oh God, I have to put everything in that room, close the door, and make sure they don't go into that room. The house is what I call visitor friendly. Okay, so she knows that at any time people come in and she will feel okay with it because she likes the way it looks. Gives her a good feeling. She's also happy that it makes her efficient. She knows where everything is. Whenever the kid's like, Mommy, where is this? Oh, it's in the top drawer. Or the spouse goes like, I can't find that in the lower drawer down there, as it always is, in its place. And he goes like, what? I didn't know it had a place. No. But anyway, it becomes efficient. She never has to go look for something. She doesn't accidentally buy something she already has because she knows what she has. She knows where it is. Makes her efficient, makes her happy. In this way, she keeps her house maintained, meaning the floors and the walls and all these things will be maintained and in good shape longer because she keeps them clean all the time. She knows that this will increase the lifetime of this, keeps the value of the house higher, if you wish. Now, there are also costs related, and that's why she's been starting to look into that she's not sure if it's worth the costs. The costs she sees, 5 hours of her week. 5 hours of her week, every week, she spends cleaning and keeping the house tidy. She's the only one doing it in the family. So that's what she does. That's part of it. The bad thing is, as we have talked a lot about, it's not about time only. It's very much about energy in our classes. And she notices that even though she likes the end result, she really loves all these values, she does not like actually cleaning. It takes the energy away from her. It makes her grumpy. It makes her tired. She hates dragging that vacuum cleaner up and down the stairs. It really annoys her when her husband keeps that coffee cup. He just like leaves it wherever he happens to drink. Or that those dirty clothes on the sofa. Why is she supposed to take care of them? And it's just not fun, especially not cleaning one day and the day after it looks just the same. And it takes her energy away. And she knows that that's really important for her. She's also noticing that by always taking care of this herself, always doing it, she's taken for granted. The rest of the family have no idea how much work it is. They don't even care so much if it is a little dusty or not. So sometimes she works and they don't notice that she has cleaned up. She feels like she's taken for granted. She feels that she's not understood. And that is making her even more annoyed and more loss of energy. And as always, look at the cost of lost opportunities. What else could she do for the 5 hours? In this case, I wrote yoga. Of course, she could have chosen something else, but right now Anna is really into yoga. She just doesn't know how to fit it in when she works overtime and she cleans her house and she does whatever else. So this is her values and costs for keeping her home tidy at the level it is today. So now we have the business cases, we have them or parts of them, we have the tables, values, costs. And as I said in the beginning, a business case does not only include those things that are easy to measure, like money or time, it's also feelings. It's goodwill, it's strategic things, and in our cases then, how do I feel? What's the energy? What does it make me feel? Or do I feel all these things about, yes, it makes me feel happy, no, it makes me feel abused, this makes me feel unappreciated or appreciated. All those things also matter. So when you do yours, spend some time on thinking about all these feelings. Some of these feelings you might not even be aware of. You might just have this feeling that something is not feeling good. Then why isn't it? Or on the other hand, you have this, I really don't think this should take such a big space in my life, and still I let it. Why is it? Because there is something in there you really like. like that pat on your shoulder or that appreciation. And maybe putting it down, it's like, okay, maybe it is worth it after all. So start with getting the tables in place, the values versus the cost, and dig a bit in your mind to figure out what is it that you really like, what is it that you really dislike. Put them up there. And then start looking at them. What's the most important then? Are the values outweighing the costs or the other way around? So let's look at the top alternative. Are the values larger than the costs? Okay, fine. Don't change anything then. Just be happy. Okay, it's worth it, right? And then you can say, well, Annika, then I haven't achieved anything, have I? Yes, you have. Because then you know, then you can disregard some of these things. Let's say that Anna thinks actually the values of working 45 hours a week in average rather than 40 outweighs the costs. And once she knows that, once she has decided, yeah, this is important to me, she can stop going around and wondering and second guessing at herself that, is this really worth it? Is it really the right thing to do? And then when she says, yeah, it is, I get so much out of it, but it's worth it, then that goes away. And this thinking, am I doing someone else's job? Well, if she's decided it's worth it, then like, yeah, then never mind. I'm really proud of what I achieved, so it's good. So you will still have achieved something, even if you conclude that, hey, the values outweigh the costs. You can still do what you can to reduce the costs, but the costs will by themselves get smaller when you have decided for yourself that it's worth it. You will have turned the perceived musts into a very clear choice. Now, be aware that things change over time. So it can be that, yes, the values outweigh the costs when I am not yet a mother, right? Then maybe once you become a mother, you think like, no. Now moving the stress so that I make sure I work enough to not be stressed at work, and moving it home is then no longer okay. It can still be. I'm just giving an example. It might not be. Or maybe it is at some point, but not during the summer. When the kids are home, then I want to be home more with them. So it's fine, but I don't want to work 45 hours a week during these periods during the year, because then it's not worth it. So you can conclude that the values outweigh the costs, but maybe not all the time, and still adjust. But beware and then own the decision. Also, you could put into your calendar. We do that, my husband and I, that we have quarterly, what do we call them? Quarterly results and insights. So quarterly we look at what results have we achieved in our lives, in everything we do. What have we learned? How do we want to move on? And this can be a good idea for you to do with these business cases. Okay, is it still a good business case to do this? Is it still a good business case? And if not, it's time to look at the other alternative. Are the costs larger than the values? Then it's time to change. If the costs outweigh the values, it's time to change. And so what I've been talking about until now has been very rational. You know, the costs on one side, the values on one side, which one is bigger, is very rational and clear and logical. Now that you're going to decide, okay, it does not, I need to change. Now it's time to put creativity in there. Because you might say that, yeah, well, you know, I've tried all the things you can try. I've never found a way. If you haven't found a way, you haven't tried everything. If you had tried everything, you would have found your way. There is always a way. You just haven't found it yet. In our example, we can say that Anna decides that it's not worth 5 hours, the energy loss, and what she feels as an unappreciative attitude from the rest of the family to keep her home tidy the way she does today. So she wonders, like, she still loves a tidy home. She still wants to have this possibility to have people coming home at any time and not have to go into panic mode. She likes the efficiency. She likes all these values. So it's up to her now to figure out, how can I get this without the costs or with reduced costs? So one is the 5 hours. How can she do it in another way. So she thinks, okay, I could adjust my ambition level. She has already noticed that the rest of the family don't notice that she cleans. So she can lower the ambition level. Maybe it's just in her head that she thinks it's important to do exactly all these activities, the vacuum cleaning, the cleaning the floors, the dusting, the putting things in place, whatever it is that she's doing every week into that level. She can decide that I can do it a little less. Maybe some of these tasks I only do every second week. Or she decides on the other hand that different parts of the house I can have different levels on. Maybe on this part of the house I can clean every second week. This is fine to do every week. This one, I have to do several times a week. So that she starts looking into how she can do it differently. So she gets from the 5 to maybe the 3. And then maybe she thinks it's okay. How can she deal with the loss of energy? Well, she can do a lot of different things. One can be that she has decided that it's worth it, just that in itself will give the energy. Other can be all these silly things that might seem silly and might make a huge difference, like listening to music she really loves. So the cleaning, she listens to music she really loves really loud and dances around while she cleans, and maybe does it with her kid, who thinks it's suddenly very funny to be with mom because mommy's just jumping around doing silly things and she happens to dust and do stuff at the same time. Or whatever it is, or listen to the audiobook when you do. Listen to some fantastic inspirational speech when you do. Do it together with someone else. Because then you also get to this third point, to the third big cost, feeling unappreciated, people don't understand what I'm doing. Then, hey, involve them. Let them know. I do this and this and this and that. And you don't even see it, and actually you're making it more difficult by putting stuff on the table I have just cleaned, or walking in with dirty shoes, or whatever else it is that others might do without even thinking about it. Letting them know this is not the way I want to do it, and actually I'm happy to continue taking care of this as long as you take care of the vacuum cleaning. Or I will happily do this, can you please at least take care of your own room? Whatever she does, she's getting an agreement with the rest of the family to split the work one way or the other. And she makes sure they understand the work that she's doing. That will reduce that cost plenty. And when she does go taking care of all of these things, she does get, if not 5 hours to do yoga, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. Then she will have turned this must into a set of new choices. That's the way we will use business cases. Now it's your turn. So I've given you some examples of business cases, say both from the business world and also how we can apply it to our own glances of time. So pick at least 2, but you're free to pick even more, or all the musts you have in your glass to make business cases of, but at least 2. And think for yourself, what are the values I get? And be, again, as always in this program, be really honest with yourself. Even if it might feel like it's not that I really think I'm going to get a promotion just because I work a bit more, but yeah, maybe it's a little bit in there. Put everything in. And if you feel like I'm not appreciated, but I probably am actually, I shouldn't be just bitter and being silly, put it in there. Go deep inside. It's like, what is it that I really feel? And it could be that you're going to finally understand, oh, is that why I keep doing this? Because I do attach this value to it. So take a deep, good look at these musts and the values they bring to you, the costs they bring to you. And then, of course, looking at them, the value side, the cost side, which one weighs the most? Okay. Oh, values, they are really outweighing the costs. Okay. You can still look at how to reduce the costs, but then the focus can be more on reducing the costs, and as I said before, they will shrink themselves when you have decided that the values are really more important. And then you can go around and think, yep, I chose this. Write down in the exercise document or form the values, the costs, and if the values outweigh the costs or not, and how you can reduce the cost. Then in the times when you say that no, the costs are really outweighing the values, go get creative, list a number of things you can do to reduce the costs and still get the value you want. Or possibly decide, one way can be to decide that I don't need the value to that level. It's okay to have the house somewhat less clean, or it's okay to not be quite as intense at work, or whatever it is. You can adjust both values and cost. The important thing is that you go through each of your musts, or at least two, and make this work and turn them into choices. It's so lovely that we are soon, very soon, going to have a glass with enough needs, very little waste, if any, choices and wants. Looking forward to seeing the outcome of your exercises and to talk to you about this module. Bye for now.